together and then did his printing, which was pretty unheard of at the time. And I've seen one of these books floating around, the one on the back table there, actually shows pictures of the backside of his blocks all kind of together with these hooks and different things, and it was pretty amazing how he did that. And I think that these are the fascinating things that we want to look at. This one's called The Kiss. So, you know, one of those moods and things that he explored was love. And so these people embracing, you've got, you know, the big wood cuts within these. But this one you can see is a two-color process, so that he stamped a piece of wood to put all this brown on there. Then he came back and put the black on top of that, and that creates a lot of depth and layers there. And that's something that maybe our middle school kids could start to think about how they can integrate two colors. And maybe I do one layer first and come back and think about how those colors work together, things along those lines. So this one was called the Sun, and this, for the older kids, they might find this interesting. It's a good sample of kind of really doing the basic lines for the young kids, but for the older kids, this was one of many pieces of art that was confiscated by Nazis in World War II. Officially deemed a degenerate art, and there's 20,000 of these that just started to surface in the last couple of decades. And so, you know, he had done some really quite amazing things along those lines. Another one, again, we're kind of losing a little bit at the top, but has this interesting kind of motif of this moon where it's kind of like a circle and then looks like a cross. But he has this very stylized moon above the water that you'll see across all of his art that I thought was kind of a really nice touch. And there you go, you can see the bottom half on my screen. You can kind of see
Daniel,
it
there's
here.
a zoom out.
There's
Zoom in on this thing.
Oh, on this guy. Okay.
I'll let
Yes,
zoom
okay.
in and I'll
You be
see
the
what I can
zoomer.
do.
Zoom the zoom. Yeah, and so the last.
Working at the moment.
So you can kind of see the top of here. So again, thinking about that repetition with variation, this one's called The Lonely Ones. There you go. You can see his T-shaped moon that kind of comes across, but you can also see different takes on the same ink and how he's looking at exploring textures and different things in different ways. We think there's some really fun things that we can do there, just kind of exploring the same stamp with different colors and different applications as we go across there. This last one that I want to highlight is Girls on a Jetty. So he would do all of these, there's photos. I'm not sure if this was taken before or after. Oh, there we go. Almost. Okay.
That's as slow as it goes.
Okay. And you can see that he's got draftsman quality of sketching these things, and starts to loosen up what the layout will be, and then gets into the woodblock itself. And so it's really kind of nice. And he ended up doing a painting where this last lady kind of looks at you, but you can see all the way from the photo to the sketches to thinking through how all these go. And you can also see the consistency from the screen and the lawn boardwalk, the single point perspective, and some fun things along those lines. But also, when you're working in a woodblock, you only have kind of, you're either up or down in the relief. And so to start to create textures and to lighten things up, you see all the vertical lines. And those are things that we can do in our project too, to start to create some fun ways to lighten up one of our prints. And so, you lose my joke here, but Munch some Munch is what it says on this. And so this fun lady on Instagram for his 150th went and started recreating. Here's the Girls on the Jetty and the screen, and did some fun things in her kitchen. I thought this was too good to pass up. So Munch some Munch is a fun way to end this. But yeah, so what we're going to do is think about some of these different things that we've seen, I think, for some of the older kids along these lines, and some real simple stuff. So let's kind of talk about some art. So what we're going to be doing is making wood blocks essentially out of styrofoam plates. So styrofoam is not the friendliest of materials, I acknowledge that. And I did look around at alternatives. I actually went and spent an afternoon at Scrap and tried some other printing stuff, and nothing worked as good as a nickel styrofoam plate. And so what we're going to do is I've got some samples to show you, some other ones, so it's a good one. So for the younger kids, we can show our feelings on the outside, and those can be happy feelings and very simple types of art. And what we'll be doing is putting some woodblock ink, and we'll roll it on with our roller, and we will stamp it onto paper and have a really nice textural type of reverse result. So we'll use pens to kind of indent it as we go, and what we draw comes back as white and kind of reverses out. So it's really kind of fun and simple in those ways. We'll be doing it on some square pieces. For the older kids, we can even explore some color backgrounds. We've got some different color paper. It's all cardstock, and see how those work. We've done a bunch of them. Also for the older kids, starting to think about two color treatments. And so we'll do one of these as a demo. But where are they here? I went crazy last weekend. These are tremendously addictive. I'm going to tell you that right now. Ellen tested her kids.
The living room was full of paper and stuff because they just kept going, and it was very easy, and
Yeah.
they really loved it, and they 2 hours.
Oh yeah. So take lots of plates. People are going to want to do multiple ones. So for the older kids, we can look at doing two colors, and whether that is this one was kind of fun. This was me trying to play off his Kiss one. And so, orange on the background and coming back with a darker color. So exploring what multiple colors can do. And then there's another side of it, which is actually inking two different colors on it itself instead of cutting them out like he did with his jigsaw puzzle. We can use these itty bitty rollers and just get in there on the parts that we want some different colors. And so we'll have both of those for them to work with. So there's a lot of fun things. I've got all sorts of faces and we're going to see some University of Oregon logos. We're going to see some palm trees. It's not always going to be about feelings as much as we want. But this is the result of that guy, so that you can see the other half of it. So yeah, they're kind of fun, and you can get in some fun detail. And again, thinking about using line work to lighten it up in certain ways. So yeah, the older kids can also kind of roller some backgrounds before they start and then come back to those. So I did a couple of these in advance just to play with it, and it becomes a lot of fun. And we've got some samples of the kids' work. So this is my 5th grader. I've done this guy. And yeah, some early tests of working with different colors, cars in a city, and different stuff. So that looks amazing. Is that you? Let's see that one. So a lot of really fun stuff, and it is a blast to do. So yeah. So who would have known? And I sat down with my mother-in-law over the weekend and showed it to her, and she was just like, I had no idea you could do these things. And so a couple of tricks, and we will post the lesson plan itself and get some recommendations along those lines. So spiral pen, two of these guys typically, and so I don't know, I'll just draw it here. It's easy. I mean, the biggest thing is going to be for the younger kids not to press all the way through it, and so just kind of lightly doing it. So we'll do a fun, little happy thing.
Right.
What's that? Right here? Okay. I'm not messing up all here. Let's do a little smiley face on this guy.
Can you see that now,
And working still.
And while you're doing that, I can say for kindergarten and first grade, they've been using different kinds of lines and line pattern and what that line can do to express certain feelings. So that's going to tie in with what you're going to be doing with them. So you can even bring that up, and they already have that vocabulary started. So what can line do?
Okay, we'll put a little texture on the side of this guy. And let's try some turquoise. And so we'll probably need to figure out the best way to do this with the younger kids, in the sense of, yes, you can already see this now, huh? So there's typically on there, you would have a piece of glass and you'd roll it out all evenly. We found that we can do it pretty much straight on and not have to create as much. So bending it a little bit as we go gets it into all the crevices, and those little lines actually are great when you do the printing because if you didn't see how much I put on, it's probably about half as much toothpaste as you would typically use, so maybe like 2 keys worth, and it goes very far. And so we'll do a single color inking on this guy here. Just kind of take it all the way to the side. And the beauty of, let's see, we'll do this straight onto white as we would with the younger ones. So this is the actual paper that we've already got for you. This cardstock, a little bit thicker. And so you can see, and those on the camera there you go, where things are at. My Bob Ross, I guess. So I haven't even cleaned this because one of the things that's great about it is when we're going to use the same roller to now kind of press it down. And so I'm just going to go straight here. And having 2 plates gives it a little bit of flexibility to move around without shifting the stamp, so to speak. And so I'll just go around all the edges here. And sometimes with printmaking, the second print's better than the first print. And so you want to definitely have the kids stamp a couple of times to see which ones they like the most. I just kind of got my finger there. And now we've got edges to the plate itself that help to peel it back. And you kind of see right away how quick and fast that is. And it's a lot of fun in that sense. So we can do that along those lines. And so it gives you some real flexibility. Let's try another one with maybe 2 colors for maybe what the older kids would do. One of the tricks is the pen doesn't seem to like to do it while I stand against the wall, so I'll just do a quick kind of bridge scene here. Make it good, okay. No pressure. All right, this would be our girls on the jetty. Along those lines here, and we'll put a little thing in the sunset here, and a little rowboat. And maybe there's some really small people here that are feeling lonely because that's maybe how I'm feeling on the inside. Let's do a little stick figure here. And then let's do some squirrely skies here. Maybe we make our moon like his moon in a T shape. Let's see if we can do that. All right, I'm expecting some fun stuff from this group. So we'll use a little bit more of this ink. Maybe let's see, we'll do that for this, how about the sky? Yeah. And so with as we work through the different grades, there may be a point where you have a couple of parents that are maybe doing kind of the inking station in one central place, and the kids kind of all draw and then bring it to you, and maybe you roll it on for them and hand it back to them. There's a lot of ways that it could be done, and we're just, I'm definitely open to feedback and from Tracy and you guys of maybe the best way to keep mayhem from happening in the classroom around that. This is water-based acrylic ink, so it's pretty forgiving in a lot of ways. Let's see, I'm going to just use this straight line of this bridge here. See if I can roll it. This is where having a little bit more on a plate would be easier to spread out, maybe. There we go. And then you can see in the middle here as I'm going along that it's not getting into this part right here, and so I'll just, if I bend it against my finger, it just kind of goes in those slots much easier. Yeah, so there's some little, it's just really just bends along those lines. And for those that are worried about the styrofoam and their eco-karma, I did look at recycling opportunities. They only will recycle boxes or box packaging, and it has to be clean, and this is not clean styrofoam, so apologies in advance, but this is a very small footprint for some really fun creativity, I think. Okay, let's try some gold for our second color on this guy here. We have these are called brayers, these little rollers, and we have a whole bunch to work with, luckily. Working with Tracy, she actually had plans to do a little bit of printing in the spring, and so we worked together we bought some little ones, and she's bought some big ones, and we're all sharing, and it's all just a great investment. It's all going to go back into our Yeah, put a lot in there. Talk
So
about
if
too
they
much.
get clean, it's roller.
They clean really quickly. We just
Mhm.
rinse them under the faucet and another 5 seconds.
Yeah, let's put way too much on there for that. So yeah, we can deal with paper towels and maybe some wipes even in the classroom, but they do come off quite quickly in that sense. So again, the two-color effort would be for the older kids. We wouldn't expect this for any of the anyone under middle school along those lines. I've not used these little ones before, so I'm gonna just kind of not the it's not really spinning for me. So let's see if it'll. There we go. Smearing it around here. Okay. All right. Without further ado, let's see how this kind of goes. So at this point, we've got most of it on those lines. I want to make sure we have it in all the crevices there. Okay. So I'm not sure about gold on yellow as a motif, but let's see. I think it's about that way. All right, we'll use the big one to roll it out and just to press it down. And just kind of make sure to go out to the edges on each of them. And I just love that the paper plate works as a pool to be able to do that. And so this one's a little bit rougher, but I was kind of working a little bit quick on it and a little extra ink. So I'm actually going to try this on a second piece of paper too. As I was saying before, sometimes the second printing is even better than the first because it takes all the excess ink off the first go. So we'll just try a second one for fun here. Into there.
How many prints do we put in the portfolio by now?
You know, I think what we want to go for is to try to think about, you know, we're starting to kind of envision what that exhibit would look like, and maybe if we had at least 4 from each kid. And so they could take this one and then we can add some different colors. And I don't think they have to clean between them. I think there's some interesting elements of having a little bit of residue from the last color into the next. And that was kind of like some of my favorite parts of some of these inks because you could see the green and the more gold that was in there at one point. So if we can hold on to some of those, but you can see this was the first and this was the second, and that they have a little bit of a different life to them. And you can kind of see what that looks like. So it's a lot of fun. So what we'll do is we're going to spread out some paper. We're going to put it all